Hello, welcome to Pecan Corner. I'm Tina, and today I'm working on my garlic. I'm going to braid up my garlic that I grew this year. I had to dig it a couple of weeks early because of all the rain that we've been having. We had a bad storm that knocked over a bunch of the stalks. See, it bent them over, and so I had to go ahead and pull it so they wouldn't separate. I still had a few that separated that I had to see that this one has lost most of its covering. But this is just garlic that I grew for us, so no problem with that. It just didn't get as big as it might have otherwise. Even so, I'm pretty pleased with the size of the cloves. This is just grocery store garlic. I bought it at, I try to get garlic that was grown either in the United States or in Mexico, so that I get something that'll fit within our climates, and it hadn't been treated with anything. And so this, I think I found at Schwartz's, which is a little independent store in a small town near us that I shop at a lot. Our doctor is down there, and we use the pharmacy there, and so we started going to the grocery store down there. But I wanted to show you something else funny. I also dug up a small amount of garlic that was from some that I had planted previously and left a small stand of. And I went ahead and pulled it. I'm going to put it back. I'm going to save all of it as seed garlic and put it all back in the ground when fall comes. But this one, I'm not sure what type this one is. This was a varietal that I bought as seed garlic, but I don't know what it is. I don't remember if it's the French pink. It's very purple, so it may be. I'll just have to look and see. I have to tell you, I know that garlic has different flavors, different varieties have different flavors. We live near Mr. Bob Anderson, who has gourmetgarlicgardens.com website. I've had the opportunity to meet him and to visit with him several times. Wonderful, interesting person to talk to. Very infectious. When he starts talking about garlic, you get as excited about it as he does. But I can't tell the difference in the flavors. It must be my taste buds, I guess. Because as far as I can tell, garlic is garlic is garlic, and so they all taste the same. They just look kind of different. But the funny thing that I wanted to show you is these are some hardnecks that I had started off. My friend Deborah, way back when we had the farmers market, this is the kind they grew at our community garden, and I had gotten a start of it from her, and it's just kind of sat there in this little stand of it has kind of sat there neglected since oh gosh, when did I plant it? Maybe 3 years ago. And so these are small cloves. Very few of them have separated. Most of them are just single size. So I need to save these and put them in the ground, and then they'll separate into cloves next year. But see, these are a hardneck garlic, and so they have these real hard stems on them, unlike these softnecks that'll bend easy. And these hardneck garlics send up flowers every year that they call scapes. These were picked before there were any scapes. There weren't any scapes, no flower heads or nothing or anything. But if you just pull this and let it sit there and don't cut the tops off of it, it'll still produce these scapes. And the other piece of that is, if I cut these scapes off now, I can put them in a bowl of water, and they'll just continue to develop into flowers and even make seed. So you can eat them. They say you can use them, almost maybe like fiddlehead ferns, although they have a garlic flavor to them. But anyway, I thought that was kind of funny that when I picked these about 10 days ago, there was no sign of scapes at all in them, and I came back and all of a sudden they're blooming. so I'm going to cut those off, and like I said, I'll pop them into a vase. they look really pretty, I think. They're like just like the ornamental alliums, that they have this pretty appearance to them. And so if you can stand the odor of garlic in your house, they make a good flower. As do the leeks. Our leeks are blooming this year. Let me show you those real quick. Hold on. Let me stop this. This is actually my wild elephant garlic that grows wild here in Blanket. It's an heirloom, and but this year all of it's blooming, and look how tall it is. It's 4 feet tall. The blooms are, and see how pretty they are. They look like they look like an ornamental. So it's real attractive. And here next to the rose bush. The roses aren't blooming today, but there's a bunch of buds that'll bloom out. So that's what the blossoms look like, and they'll open out. They'll open out into regular flowers and be a real pretty flower for the vase. If you like I say, if you don't mind the onion and garlicky smell. I know some folks have said before that they wait until there's blooms to pick it, but this softneck garlic does not bloom, does not send up scapes, so we can't trust that for it. Okay, there we go. See, what I'll do is I'll braid these together, and then I'll just cut cloves off of it all through the summer as I want to use it, and then when fall comes, it'll start to sprout by September. So I'll pop those into the refrigerator to kind of hold them until I'm ready to plant, and I'll plant around Halloween is the best time in our part of the country to plant garlic, and that's one of the things I like about it is you can plant it just about that time that everything else at the garden is winding down, and then you don't have to worry too much about it. Now, and we have such warm winters that we have winter weeds, so you might have a little bit of that to worry about, but you don't have to worry about grass or things that are difficult to deal with. So you don't have to do any a whole lot of care for them during the winter while they're growing, and I like that. Anything that makes it easy for us, right? the less attention that some of these things require, the better off we are. So these these cloves grew nice and big, and I don't know, I'll plant some of it again, and we'll see if it continues to maintain its size through some generations. As I said when I planted these, I'm hoping to get some to naturalize. Well, at that point in time, when I was putting it out, I'm such a dingbat sometimes, I realized after planting it all in my sand bed that I don't want anything permanent in my sand bed. That's where I need to grow any kind of root crops and things. So I need to put this in a different spot. And that's where these all were. All my other ones that I have set aside there, they were over in a different little bed, and they've just been growing there unattended. So they're starting to naturalize. Like I said, they've been there a few years, and they just have gotten very small. So I probably need to fertilize the spot where they were, and then maybe add some fertilizer each year. I'll have to look at Mr. Anderson's website and see what he recommends for fertilization. I know with onions you do fertilize to get bigger bulbs, and I'm sure it's the same way with garlic. Put one paper off of this because I want that. dirt and mildew off of there. I tell you what, we've had some rain this year, and we're going to have some more. We had last week on Tuesday, we had a surprise shower that was not predicted anywhere by anybody, and we got 1 3/4 inches from it, and even the National Weather Service hadn't predicted but 20% chance later in the afternoon, but this happened in the morning, and it was one of those little dinky storms where nobody else around us, even in other parts of the county, didn't get anything, and so I don't even know if they knew it happened. But so whatever our official data is, we'll have for the year we'll have 1 inch and 3/4 more than whatever it says for this year. Boy, the rains have been great this year too, haven't they? They say that we're kind of setting some records in Texas for the amount of rainfall that we've had, and that's excellent. You know, it fills everything up, and hopefully is also replenishing our underground reservoirs as well as our above ground ones. See, this is another one that started splitting just from that all that moisture, and so I'm not going to be able to use any of these cloves where it's split. See, they've got dirt onto them. I might be able to stick them back in the ground, but I'm not gonna cook with them at all. See how it had split. So there's only there we go. I'll just pull that right off, and I'll take these 2 good ones in the house and use them immediately. There we go. Set that aside, and those I'll put in with my. I don't know that they'll even work for that. Maybe I'll just throw them away. So anyway, I like doing projects like this. You know, this is such a pleasant task. It's like shelling peas or picking peaches. You know, it's just it's a real satisfying thing when you've grown some food, and you're putting it away and you're preparing it to make it part of your meals. I think the hard work of, here's another one that's split. See, that was all split. I'll just throw that whole one away. And that was just purely from all that rain that we've had. It just caused them all to split way too early. But anyway, like I was going to say, I think the hard work of farming probably physically would have been too hard for me even in my younger years. But the labor of preparing all of this is not hard at all. It's a pleasant task. We didn't get any pecans at all, not a single pecan off our trees last year, off of any of them. It was really odd. You know, all through the summer it looked like we had lots of little bitty pecans on there. It looked like they were going to do real well, but something happened, and a great many of the pecan trees around this area all just dropped their crop. And you know, it's not related to rain. Although it was dry later in the summer, that's not what caused that. So I don't know what it was. But a lot of people that I've talked to didn't get any pecans at all last year. So I hope that this year will be one of those years that we do get a good crop. I finally found, you know, somebody who can crack my little native pecans, and so I was so excited to be able to have another nice crop to carry to her, but didn't work out that way. Fortunately, I had in the freezer still had several pounds from the previous year's crop, and so we have not been without pecans all year because of that. And that's another thing. You know, if you think you're putting up more food than you need, Sometimes it may be 2 years before you get more of that crop, or 3 even. So the more you can put away, you're not just putting it up for next year. You're also preparing for 2 or 3 years down the line. Okay, now this is what happens. I said that this softneck garlic does not bloom, and it doesn't. I think maybe once in a great while it will, but it doesn't produce the way the hardnecks do. What it does instead is it sets little side seed nodules. What are they? Bulblets they call them. And see, this one has set it in its stem up above the main bulb. There are these little smaller bulbs that are inside the stem here. Hold on, and I'll open it up and I'll show you what that looks like. And these little bulblets next year will make a single solid, like a marble top bulb, which is edible, but it'll be 2 years before these turn into an actual garlic clove themselves. But see how they are little bitty things? You can plant these, and 2 years from now they'll have made a divided clove of garlic. So I'm going to put that in with my eating garlic, because these are quite edible, and I don't want to save them since I have all these other to use. These are good, tasty little morsels all on their own. Hear the wind blowing? We've got another storm coming in today, and I don't know how much rain. We had one Saturday. Today's Monday. We had one Saturday, and we got 6/10 of an inch from that. And then we have this other one coming in today. I don't know how much we'll get from it. We'll certainly find out. But you can hear the birds. They're all settling in, getting ready for it. You know, they feel the pressure falling, and so they start gathering up in the trees and getting ready to hunker down during the storm. Maybe drowse a little bit. You know, we get sleepy when it's rainy, and so do the animals. That's how the Lord made them, so that they're not bored while it's while it's stormy. They can just snuggle up and sleep. Here's one that divided. This one's kind of interesting. This is this just divided into 2 separate solid cloves, like the ones I was telling you that these little things will make into. Okay, these are 2 solid like marble tops, and so if I put them back in the ground next year, they'll divide into cloves. There we go. Okay, now then, all right, now over there. All right, now I'm going to trim all my roots off of these. I don't really like the roots hanging down. It looks cute in theory if I were going to hang them outside, but since I'm going to take these in the house, I want to clean these off. You could even take like an wire brush, and you can brush through here and clean the rest of the dirt out of there if you want to. Do it just gently so that you don't scar your garlic or damage the papers on it. I think I have an old video up of making these braids, but I haven't. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I'm just gonna. These have been sitting until they're mostly dry, but they're still kind of limber. They're not completely dry yet. And I'm just gonna cross over 3 of them just like that, and just to start braiding, just like you braid hair. And add. See, these don't want to. Add another one like that. If they don't want to stay together, you can tie them at the bottom. Let's just use one of the strings, one of the leaves that's there we go. Tie them together there at the bottom so they won't unravel. There we go. Now then, and just keep adding them in. And braiding. Oops. There we go. And just keep braiding them together until they're as long as you want. And then all we have to do is, I'm going to finish this braid, then I'm going to tie it off with a loop for hanging. You can make your braids as big as you want to. I'm going to keep these kind of small. And then when I'm ready to use some garlic, I'll just cut one of these off. Just snip it off with my kitchen shears, and there we go. In the meantime, the rest of them can just hang up there. This is one of those tasks that the first 1 or 2 that I do every single year is not as attractive as the other ones. It kind of takes me a little bit to remember to get in a rhythm of doing them. And all right, so now I'm just gonna turn that over like that, and tie a knot right there. That. Okay, turn that over, and then just wrap these 2 around and tie them off. You don't need any string or anything. And there we go. There's me a set of garlic cloves to hang up. Okay, I thank you guys for watching. Thanks for stopping by Pecan Corner. Have a great day. I hope it's raining where you are, if that's what you want it to be doing.